Good evening all and welcome back to another wonderful session of Allusion organized by Japura Voice, the official media and broadcasting unit of University of Sri Jayewardenepura, where we're gonna help you to shine as a revolutionary star in the field of announcing. Japura Voice is the official media and broadcasting unit of University of Sri Jayewardenepura, consisting of 7 main divisions as Sinhala and English announcing, Sinhala and English debating, dubbing, filming, and programming. Allusion 2022 is a workshop series organized by Japura Voice with the aim of developing skills and enhancing the knowledge of future media-budded personalities. Allusion is throughout the last few days, we discussed different aspects of Sinhala announcing, and today, our final session, we are ready to discuss how can we craft the best version of becoming an English announcer and many more things. We hope it would be an interactive and an interesting session for each and every one of you, and I would like to invite you all to be with us until the very end. Today, through this session, we'll be mainly discussing about how to unleash the hidden speaker within you and to enlighten your vision on that area. We have a very special, interesting, and also an influential personality with us, who is gonna be your guest speaker for today's session. So let's see, who's our guest speaker for today?
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we present to you the one and only Charitha Minipuraarachchi. Simply a person who has proved his potential in various arenas, namely the medicine, law, and media. He is currently working as an English news anchor at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation and also known to be a renowned presenter. So please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Charitha Minipuraarachchi.
So here he is, a renowned news presenter at SLRC, a motivational speaker, Mr. Charitha Minipuraarachchi. Good evening, sir. We warmly welcome to you this session. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening, Dinali. Thank you very much for that generous and wonderful introduction. I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir. You're audible and also visible.
Okay.
So,
thank you very much. So doing well.
That's great to hear, sir. So seems like our session is going to be a really interesting one. And to notify you about a few things, only 100 participants could join this session via Zoom. So the rest of y'all can join the session live via Japura Voice TV by Japura, the official YouTube channel of Japura Voice. After completion of this workshop, we will be having a competition, Verbalizers 2022. Details of the competition will be communicated to you in due course. Also, you will receive a certificate for participation for today's workshop. So for that, you will need to fill a Google form, and the Google form link will be provided to you via the chat box and the YouTube comment section at the end of the session. Please be kind enough to fill that form before 12 a.m. today in order to receive the certificate of participation. Finally, if you come across any doubts or questions regarding the session, please raise the questions through the chat box or comments on YouTube. We are prepared to answer them at the latter part through a Q&A session. So dear sir, we warmly invite you to start the session.
Right. Thank you very much. And I was counting to do this wonderful session. So Japura University is not distant place to me, always familiar with many more events, and really thankful for you all for inviting me for this wonderful opportunity. So Allusion'22, I come to know that Jaipura Voice and certain other media activities through University of Sri Jayewardenepura, they have excelled to a certain extent, which has encountered many fields. So with regard to news presenting basically and many other fields of media, they are doing their best, and it's nice to work with such a wonderful group of students, undergraduates from different faculties, and really thankful for you all once again for inviting me for this wonderful opportunity. And so I think I can conduct and start my workshop now onwards, right?
Yes, sir, you can start.
Right. Okay, Dinali, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, so basically what I want to do today is that to speak with you friendly, right? So this is a certain workshop by the name, but simply feel that I'm discussing with you all, right? So if you need to ask something, just feel free. You can ask any questions, right? So let's see the number of participants. We have 72, excluding me, 71. And even the organizing committee members might be here. And anyways, so I learned that university undergraduates and school students are here, right? Okay. So what I want to do today is that to motivate you to a certain extent and to educate you about what is media and how can you involve, how can you develop yourself as a presenter or news anchor or reporter or journalist or whatever, right? You can ask any questions. So I honestly believe that I do have the experience and the expertise to give you the particular advice. I'm not a so-called very big personality in this field, but I do have a certain experience, and as far as I believe, as far as you have seen me through television and different events, I hope that this event will be fruitful and be successful, right? So simply, I want to start from a very small thing, right? So you all are university undergraduates or sometimes school students are here, right? From small days onwards, you have to strive for something. For an example, when you enter the school, you might be having certain ambitions. I want to be a doctor, an engineer, lawyer, teacher, but I haven't heard and I haven't come across a certain situation where they say that I want to be an announcer, news anchor, presenter. Sometimes there might be such students, but there are different ambitions. Put away that thing. So you strive, you work hard, the parents motivate you until grade 5, and you face the scholarship examination, right? From that scholarship examination, you boost yourself to a certain extent, and from grade 6 to 11, teachers support you with your ordinary level examinations, and next it's up to you to work on your own and do your advanced level examinations, right? So that is for school level. If you have done well at your advanced level examinations, on a limited number of students are entitled to receive university education, right? Might be a state university, might be a private university, might be a technical college, but you pursue your education, right? So while you are doing such, according to one of your ambitions or depending on the results that you receive, you are doing something. While doing something as in might be you're studying management, medicine, engineering, law, arts, whatever, you can do something extra, right? Extra means what? There are many events in school, and when it comes to the university, there are many events. So when it comes to events, many students or many people get together for different work. Some will decorate the surrounding, some will create the arrangement of the hall or floor or setup or whatever. And a very few students, I'll say students because university or school or whatever, you are students now, very few students are selected or compelled to speak there. Speak means to announce simply or to compare, right? Why I say so is that many students are reluctant to do that. They are compelled. You have to do, you must do this. Why are you not doing this? You're the only person that you can do this. Please do and save us. A group will compel one or two or very few students, right? So then, likewise, when it comes to the school and the university, it's some sort of a compelling like thing. But when you step out of that box, when you think out of box, that will be a huge industry. For each and every event, you have a comparer. There might be entertainers, presenters. You have a role. Sometimes they pay well, right? Simply, you'll believe that TV presenters earn millions of money, right? I don't want to talk about that, right? Likewise, there is a huge industry. So, although very few people are compelled at that moment, ultimately you realize that if I can enter a television, if I can present a program, if I can read news, that's marvelous. So how can I enter to that industry? Many students question about that. That is none other than hard work and dedication. Simply hard work and dedication. Why is that? So I'm going to give you a surrounding, a small idea, right? So even what I wanted to let you know is that if anyone want to ask a question, whether it is in Sinhala or English, never mind, you just drop me any questions at the chat box from this initial moment onwards, right? So I'll doing this for somewhere around 1.5 hours, right? I'll do this. And if you do have any questions, let me know so that I will answer them according to the organized particular flow. I'm not going to deliver a lecture. I don't have prepared presentations here, right? What I want is to give you what you want, right? There are some guidelines, instructions, and I want to make you enlightened about this environment, media environment. And in that case, you have to ask questions, because if you have some questions left behind unanswered, if I'm winding up this session without answering your questions, that is not successful, right? So what I want is that I want to answer your questions. Meanwhile, I want to deliver my content as well. So it's okay. You can ask any questions, right? So that so-called huge industry is the industry what we are dealing with, right? I'm reading news in a particular channel, a TV station, right? There are many presenters in Sri Lanka, around the world. They read news, they present programs, they do live updates, programs, a diverse set of programs. They do entertaining stuff, they do discussions, they do many talk shows, morning shows, business programs, holiday religious programs, many work to do, right? So when you involve in such a context, you have to have certain qualities, and you have to have a certain expertise, you have to have a certain talent. So how can you enter to that industry? How can you do those things? And it's simply, there are very few TV channels, but there are many YouTube channels. How can we do that? Many questions might be there. But basically, although for the moment, nowadays, we see many YouTube channels and Facebook pages and many other platforms and entities are there for presenters and certain other activities. But basically, when it comes to the comments from the outsiders, they still want to do something at a television station, right? So they want to present a program or read news or whatever in a renowned, reputed media station, TV channel or whatever, right? So in order to pursue this thing, you have to do something. So until now, what I told you is how to get in, what to do here, the scope. That is common to Sinhala, English, Tamil, whatever the language here in Sri Lanka, around the world, or whatever the country, those are common. But today, the workshop is specified for English, right? What is the use of English? In Sri Lanka, we speak Sinhala, but you feel that from grade somewhere around 2, 3 to up to advanced levels. And when it comes to the university also, you must learn the content in English basically, right? So when it comes to certain programs and certain discussions or business talks, they are done in English. If you want to communicate with an international agent or do some high level work, English plays an important role, right? So presenting is there, the media industry is there, and language English is there. So now you want to do that role in English. I hope and I believe each and everyone who entered this meeting by clicking the link have clicked the right place for you all to grow. That is not because of me, myself, I'm doing this, because of that Japura people. I simply say Japura people. So this is for the students, right? Small students, so the undergraduate. So I'm not highlighting only the Jayewardenepura University, because my university is not Jayewardenepura, right? So I'm from somewhere else, and there might be many other students from different universities. And when it comes to school children, they don't have universities still, no, they have schools. And when you do well your advanced levels, you will be selected to a university, right? So simply you can select any other university, but I wanted to highlight is that when it comes to this thing, the media, so for budding people, Jayewardenepura University does a great role. They have Japura News, a separate thing. When you click Japura News, YouTube or Facebook, or you can learn something new, right? When it comes to dubbing, TV presenting, whatever the writing, scripts, drama, I don't know, many fields are covered from them, right? So you can have some understanding about these stuff from them, right? So simply now, according to me, Japura Voice has become a brand, and they do numerous events, and I'm really happy to work with you all. So this is for small children from schools. Just learn about this Japura background, right? And when you learn about this background, you'll be quite okay, and you will understand what you can do here in the field of media, because they provide you examples, right? So this is what it happens. For an example, simply they conducted an award ceremony, golden awards or whatever, I can remember the exact name, right? So I was there, but I can remember the name. Golden awards, they did it virtually. Wonderful thing. It's like a huge event in the media industry. So they provide examples, and they have become a role model. So just simply watch them, you can have an understanding, right? Okay, now I'm going to move on to my thing, right? This is not marketing or none of those Japura people told me to do this thing and market themselves, but this is the real truth, what I experienced here, right? Okay, moving on to the formal context, right? So the media industry is there, presenting and everything is there, the language English is there, right? So when it comes to this English presenting scenario, what you have to do, right? So I told you that to enter into this field here, field of media, it's hard work and dedication, right? Hard work and dedication means you have to strive, you have to search for opportunities, you have to work a lot to improve your mistakes, and you have to first of all find them, right? So then only you'll be able to grab something and do something, right? So simply when it comes to the language English, first of all, you have to learn the language properly, right? I think there are some questions, and I saw some good questions, right? How to improve my English? Sometimes my grammar and vocabulary isn't the best. That's why I'm asking this question from you, sir. Thank you so much. But I think it's a direct message. Better not to say the name. Anyway, Miss, you have sent me a question. The grammar is correct there, right? That grammar is fine, and that grammar is okay, right? But simply, yes, I'll do this thing, right? When it comes to Sinhala presenting, the same people might have attended that workshop also. Tisanka, I think, did that workshop, and he's a really good presenter, and you might be able to learn good content from him as well, right? When it comes to Sinhala, we all can speak Sinhala now. Our mother tongue is Sinhala, and we are fluent in Sinhala. Anyways, if we meet someone even to blame or do anything. We know the language. It's okay, we can do anything in Sinhala, but it's difficult to compete because the stage fear or your words stuck. Sometimes there are certain problems, but compared to the normal scenario, you'll be pretty okay with the language Sinhala. But when it comes to the language English, we are not native speakers. So what you have to do is that you have to improve your mistakes. So what can you do? First, read. Why? I'll tell you why. Second, yes, read. I'll tell you why. Third, yes, read. Why? First, second, third, read. Why? If I asked you to learn from A to Z, the language English, that might not be practical. Why? You might be wondering where to start, how to start, who's the best teacher, and how can we do that thing? Can you recommend? Sometimes there might be certain questions at the latter part of my session. Is there any particular place to take guidance from some expert to learn this thing? Yes, there are experts, right? I'm not saying no. Renowned, respectable people in the field of media, great seniors, they are doing some sessions. They conduct classes, right? I'm not letting down them. They do a wonderful job. You also can improve yourselves, right? But still take some experience from watching them, right? But if you attend their sessions, they will automatically give you those things. Otherwise, you can watch them and learn them, right? And simply what I wanted to enlighten with regard to this fact is that you have to read. For an example, if you want to enter the field of media, whether it is presenting or news reading, you have to have that language skill, right? Read. Take some newspapers. You have numerous English newspapers. You know, basically, their grammar are correct, right? So take a newspaper and try reading it. When you are reading, you will find numerous words. Sometimes some words are familiar. Sometimes some words are not familiar in the meaning. But apart from the meaning, what you have to do is that you have to highlight some of the pronunciation techniques, right? Then simply those days, there was a book, simply says the Bible of this Daniel and Johnson, right? So apart from that thing, now you all are not referring to those things now because you all are reluctant to read. You just simply take your mobile phone and simply type the word and click or search or whatever the pronunciation, automatically it comes, the British or American or whatever, right? So you can listen to that pronunciation. So better if you can follow pronunciation techniques, how to pronounce particular words and how to narrate them, you will be okay. But if you are not following that, just read. When you find words, just check how to pronounce, right? That is one thing. You have to learn new words to speak. You have to have words to speak. When it comes to an event, it's conducted, simply think it's a live event. You're going to compare, right? So you normally what you all do is that you write everything. Agenda first, arrival of the guest. Underline that topic and you are going to write. At the moment of arriving guests, and so on and so forth, you want to write, right? So I warmly welcome the distinguished guest available here, right? You in Sinhala, English or whatever, you write. Lengthy thing you write, right? And you're going to read that when the time arrives to the particular place, you're going to read. Simply think that backside people from the stage, they shout or simply give you a notification. That person is not there, he is there. So he is the director of music, whatever his capacity, and he is doing this thing, this thing, this thing. Please change. That person is not there. He's not coming. And there's a small change, not the traditional dancers. We have some modern set of dancers. They're dancing this thing. Those things can happen, right? So agendas given prior to those events, they are not the perfect thing what is going to happen at the event, right? That is totally different. Sometimes they have given us an agenda. It's something else that is written about this event, but not what going to happen in the future of this thing, right? So don't rely on those things, and don't write in everything. Just write down the things if you want to remember something. But I won't appreciate that. I cordially welcome Mr. Tarindu Dilshan for this speech. To present the awards, I would like to invite Setuni Senanya to accompany her. I would like to invite Amisha Chamodi. Likewise, don't write everything on that paper. Then how can you write those things, and how can you speak? Just practice, right? When you read those things, simply I told that don't forget, right? 1, 2, 3, first one, second one, and third one, they all are to read, right? Read and read. When you read, you will find new words, good words, right? So simply you have words. You can speak anything appropriate to the circumstance. You have to speak, right? So if you are out of words, you can do nothing, simply, right? Read and collect words. Although you have words, although you can speak, that is a different thing. Reading is not the thing that you're going to do. Simply you can prepare a script, but that is not reading that particular script when you're going to present. It's something else. You should have some accent. You should have some voice control. We'll talk about that later, right? So simply, but giving prominence to the first question to start my discussion is that simply what you can do is, right, collect new words. So take this advice, right? When you are reading articles or newspapers or books or whatever, collect new words, check their pronunciations, new phrases. How can you pleasantly speak something? Collect those things, right? While collecting those things, now you know new words, new styles of the language, how to pronounce correctly, so on and so forth, right? And next up is watch. Now reading done, now watch. What are you going to watch? There are many presenters in Sri Lanka and in foreign countries. So basically, what I can say is that I'm from Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. So in that particular place, we follow the British accent, right? So Southern British, the BBC is quite okay for you, right? Just follow BBC. So when I was small as in when I entered the field as a kid means like I'm the youngest now there. So youngest means the smallest one, the newly entered, the novice or whatever you can say, back before a couple of years when I enter the place. What my seniors told was just follow these channels, BBC, that how they behave the language English. And sometimes they even told these mistakes, you don't do these things. This is the way that you're going to correct those mistakes. Likewise, they told me, right? Simply what you can do is that just try to search BBC content. You can follow BBC channels or news channels, and simply you can watch their news. And even when it comes to pronunciation also, there's a lot with regard to the BBC Learning English channel, right? You can watch and learn, right? So even myself, I learn something new each and every day, right? Basically, when it comes to learning, you can't stop learning. Each and every day, you have something to learn, right? So summing up what I said, read, collect new words, new phrases, how the language behaves, and try to find the correct pronunciation there, right? Next, watch, see how they behave, see how they control the voice, see how they manage the situation, and try to learn them. Next, third one, practice. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, everything, the rest is practice. Without practice, you can't do anything. You can do nothing simply, right? So you have to practice. Why? Because practice is the only way to have that skill, right? If you want to practice, you have to practice in correct way. Otherwise, you will find some faults, and sometimes they might not be able to be corrected in the future, right? I'll give you the way how to practice, right? And simply, basically, when you're coming into the basic context, read, find, learn, see, practice, right? So my first thing is that, right? Okay, let's go to the next question. Actually, I do announcing clips found in articles, but I haven't the potential to create it in a certain level. Can you explain the criteria that I should complete? Right. So basically, when it comes to an event, it's different. Discussion, it's different. Discussion when it comes to a business discussions or a medical discussion or a legal discussion or a religious discussion or an entertaining discussion or a talk show, a morning show, different, right? When it comes to the news, totally different, right? When it comes to a professional interview, totally different. There are some similar splits. We are speaking the language, but you have to be formal there. So have you ever seen that we are wearing t-shirts and doing the news? T-shirt or whatever, a simple kit, a short-sleeved shirt, we are reading the news. See the credibility. See that person who's reading the news, see, he don't have any clothes, right? You'll say like that, right? When it comes to the news reading context, you have to build up the credibility, right? When you see me, sometimes you might not be recognizing me myself. That is a separate story, right? If you recognize me somewhere walking on the street or whatever, if I'm hitting the stones by leg, right? If I'm plucking the leaves of the trees, and if I'm like, I'm a vandal. Vandal means like drawing certain things and destroying the public places or whatever, the pictures drawn on the walls or whatever. If I'm doing that, something related to vandalism or whatever, if you recognize me as a news anchor, you won't watch my news. Why? Because you are not sure what I am telling. If you want to become a news anchor, you have to build up your personality that you will be able to give credibility to the people. People, when you watch, right? When people watch you, they must think, they must be able to believe the information, right? So for an example, if I tell you like this now, right, apart from this event, right, simply I'm going to give you some, I got a text message. Yes, this is, yes, this is a notification from the Government Information Department. So they have released a letter informing the general public of Sri Lanka. Let's see. Yes, the International Monetary Funds. Yes, International Monetary Fund has granted $5 billion to Sri Lanka, and they will be utilized to purchase essential items, within brackets, food, medicine. And it is expected that the cost of essential items in Sri Lanka will reduce to the normal level. Right? Now, I just read you a message that I received to my mobile from the Government Information Department, a notification. Right? See, if I do that on air, you're believing me. Now also you might be believing me, but I told false, right? Never, no any notification like that. International Monetary Fund, they will give or whatever, they will do something, but my story is totally different. What I told is that if I'm saying like that, you'll believe me, right? So that credibility should be with the other people when you come, right? So you have to build that credibility through the attire, the way you behave, the way you handle social media. That is very important with regard to this nowadays practice, right? If you are going to share the numerous content, I'm not explaining the content on the social media. If you must think that what is the content that you are going to choose to share, right? Simply, if anyone, for example, like you, the upper people, have absorbed my information from Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever this thing. So if I have done something foolish there, if my wall or the sharing area is full of nonsense, they will not inform me to come and do this thing, I believe, right? So simply you have to maintain credibility, the personality in front of those people. That is the most important thing, right? When it comes to doing something, you have to do. And when it comes to presenting a content, you have to organize that thing. Yes, it's correct. Simply what I did was, for an example, if I want to read the news, those days when I am practicing, right, back in the days, right, before I'm entering Rupavahini as a news anchor, news reader, simply news presenter, what I did was I watched the news, right? And I took a piece of paper and I wrote down everything what the news anchor said. I had POTV so that I can post that thing and watch it again. And simply I wrote whatever the thing that the news anchor says, I'm writing that thing. Now I have a script. It has that introduction. We hear that, for an example, good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast, bringing to you live from the national news studios here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Charitha Minipuraarachchi together with Tharindu Dilshan, right? I'm saying like that. So I'm writing like that, simply. Those days, for an example, good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast, bringing to you live from the national news studios here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Charitha Tahir together with Clifford Richards, right? Simply, I'm writing that thing and I'm including my name and some others' name there, right? On to those, right? First of all, let's take a look at the headlines. Now I'm writing that also because that anchor says, right? Simply. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. Anchor says, I'm writing, right? Now the story, right? President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says, likewise, the story I'm writing, right? Then what I did, I just understood this story is just not just reading, but the anchor is something extraordinary, something different apart from reading. I watched a couple of times the way they present the news, the way they manage to do that thing, and I try to imitate, right? Only the first thing that I did was imitating, but next I just followed them, not doing what they exactly did. So don't watch the news and do whatever the news anchor does there. You just build up your own style. See what they do and do it in your own way without harming the ethics, without harming the core and the content. You can present it. Yeah, you have a different style. So when it comes to the news, it's me. I'm not doing what others do, but I just always follow my seniors, right? Clifford Richards at Rupavahini, I follow them, right? So Thirina Udayaratne, they have a well experienced than me. So I just look at them and correct some of my mistakes when I'm just learning the thing, right? So when it comes to female anchors, short screeners, Charitha Tahir, Nitya Sarath Chandra, right? Likewise, watch them and correct their mistakes. So what I did was I wrote everything, not only the English thing. Those days, I wrote the Sinhala thing also. I'm fond of like doing both Sinhala and English, right? So Sinhala I can remember now also, right? අයිබෝන් සත්‍යය මුද්‍රාව ඔබ ජාතික රූපවාහිනී ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශය සමගින් මම චරිත පිණිපුරාරච්චි ප්‍රථමයෙන් ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රවෘත්ති ශීර්ෂ පාඨ. That thing I can hold it to one breath, right? එක හුස්මට මට ඔක කියන්න පුළුවන් උනේ with practice, right? Now put away that Sinhala thing and come to English, right? So likewise, write everything as the initial step, as the news anchor does. You can do that thing, right? apart from news, come to a program that we are going to maintain a formal discussion, right? Simply now I'm doing an example right here. Okay. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Law and Order, where we discuss the current legal issues and give answers for your legal questions. As you all know, and as you all are aware, today we're discussing a topic related to banking because many people are stuck nowadays with this economic crisis and many other burden with this COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected world over. And today, to do the honors with us, we do have a wonderful personality and a thorough gentleman in this area and disciplines, President's Council, Prashant Alvis. Good evening to you, sir. Right? This is the thing that what the anchor does. The host does. You write, pause. While posing, you can write. And just try to do that thing. Right? Different program. Good morning and welcome to another chapter of IMED. So as you all know, IMED is a program that we discuss the medical issues faced by the general public and giving advices for you all to maintain a good health. So as you all know, with the advertisements and previous programs, today we're going to discuss eye-related issues. And to discuss on this matter, we have eye surgeon, simply professor, something like that, name, doctor or whatever, right? That is a simple program. So you are going to write watching that thing. Select a presenter first of all, right? So don't do what everyone does. There are some things, no, whatever the channel, whatever you feel is good, just write them. You can judge, no, because people can judge, right? Although they can't do, they can judge. You judge and select a good presenter and do. Then you can have that skill. And while doing that, now don't write by watching the news, just try to do your own. Simply, for example, now take a name, right? For an example, Charitha, right? So I'm going to discuss with Charitha, an undergraduate at the University of Jayewardenepura, right? So this is a discussion with university students, right? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back with a wonderful program that you all are entertaining yourself at home, right? Today, we're going to discuss some of the entertaining stuff faced by the university students. We have Charitha, a university undergraduate from the University of Jayewardenepura. Good evening, Charitha, right? Likewise, simply just do, right? Take your grandma, take your dog, or take your teddy or whatever, and just do a discussion with him, right? That is discussions. When it comes to events, you would like to compare those events, no? Right? The university or award ceremonies or prize giving ceremonies at schools or sports meet or whatever. Just try to manage yourselves, try to write something and try to do as you are the comparer there, right? Then you will have that practice, and when you do more and more, you will gain the ability. That is how you can absorb the criteria by your own to manage those situations well, right? Okay. Next up, I don't think that this question regarding this workshop, but this is a big complication for me. I'm a presenter of the school Buddhist Society. We used to upload videos to YouTube explaining the specifications of certain poetes. We write scripts to tell the information in it while watching at the camera and the flash, and then watch the script is hard. I mean, some words are blurred. Then while filming, I spell the words wrong. What can I do it? Yes, giving an advice to that thing. You see that the newsreaders look straight away at the camera and they read everything. How can they do this marvelous thing, right? Simply, when it comes to a certain thing, I'll take a script. Right. Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Sumit Vijay Singh, said that they have the stocks needed for the coming days. Likewise, we have some paper, right? I'm having a paper. So this paper is with me and I'm going to read the news, right? It's very difficult to keep everything here and to utter. But when it comes to an event, you can remember the surrounding and you can speak, but that is not the news. But a news you can do to a certain extent, but it's difficult to do that. Yes, I believe, right? Then what you want to manage is that when it comes to the news also, you can see what we do at Rupavahini, right? Simply keep the script like this. Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Sumit Vijay Singh, said that they have stocks needed for the coming days. He also said that they are receiving stocks as planned. Therefore, there is no crisis related to fuel supply. Meanwhile, the police have taken into custody 4,000 gas cylinders concealed at a depot at Angunakola Palace. The police says that they were prepared to be sold at exorbitant prices. The cylinders were hidden in 2 large-scale camel trucks and 2 lorries. The contraband included gas cylinders of the capacities of 12.5 kilogram, 5 kilogram and 2.5 kilograms. The stocks have been handed over to the Consumer Affairs Authority. Measures were taken to dispatch part of the stocks to a distributing center in Rann. The remaining stocks are to be sold among the general public, right? So I watched the script and the camera as well. So when you realize that the newsreaders has memorized everything, that is because of the prompter. Prompter means a small equipment in front of the camera that appears everything so that we can pedal it, right? There is an accelerator-like device previously at Rupavahini. Now we have the latest technology, right? We have a system called Octopus. Everything is included there. And we have a small wheel-like thing to manage those things and a small remote-like thing. We can simply keep move in front and backwards and do something, right? So this is not the prompter thing, right? A small thing like this you can see at Rupavahini News. It's like a remote, right? That thing is there, so you can change the prompter speed and whatever, and you can do and you can manage and read. So giving an answer to this thing, just go through the scripts well and make those words and content familiarized, right? So then when it comes to scripts, if you can write it a little bigger, you can just visualize them, right? But don't do the mistake, ask someone to hold that paper one of the side of the camera, right? Don't do that. Why? People can see you're not looking at the camera, you're looking somewhere else, right? So don't do that. Just you can follow the script and you can read that, but still try to manage in between the words and try to manage a rhythm which will facilitate you to look at the script, right? So type the letters bigger and have some little bit of more space in between the lines, right? That will help you to do those things and go through the script very well so that it becomes familiar. But don't by heart, right? By hearing and reading is something else, but presenting is something else, right? Okay, when it comes to those things, just do that, right? Okay, next up. Right. Any suggestions to improve and maintain the flow of the words? Yes, that is what I told you earlier, to read and collect new words. Because see, now I'm doing this, I'm not boasting about myself, right? What I do is that I do talk with you. At any moment, I don't feel that I don't have words, because to conduct this thing, I have words. If I found something wrong, right? Changing the rhythm, I can just skip in between those things. So any topic, if you can give it to me, I can speak anytime that you require. That is my way, right? For example, if one of you can suggest me a topic, I can, whether it is a Greek or whatever, I can just speak something, right? That is because I have words. So if someone can suggest me something, just will try that thing, right? And that's why I ask you to do something like that. To manage the flow of the words, what I recommend is that go in front of a tree and speak, right? You speak about the tree. Hi, Trey, good evening. So, how about you? What are you doing these days? Now, as I heard earlier, oxygen supply and oxygen demand are two competitive factors. So as far as I believe, I don't think that people will provide you sufficient amount of oxygen. Why? Because they burn fossil fuels, and they burn carbon, they burn many other unimportant stuff and release harmful emissions to the atmosphere. So how can you tolerate? We all know that you absorb carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, but it's very difficult for you all to do that, no? If we are not providing you the proper nutrition, how can you grow? You're trying to produce your own food by a way of a mechanism called photosynthesis, but we plug those things and we eat. And even when we need timber, when we need firewood, we just hurt you. And we do numerous things, but you all tolerate. Not only you, but your friends are also in a position like that. What to do? Don't misunderstand me. Although I'm a human being, I love you. I love the environment, you and your friends as well, right? Likewise, go to a tree and speak something, right? So if you have your cat, if you have your dog, for example, think that you are a chocoholic and you're going to eat chocolate, right? Now you take the chocolate. Wow, a nice chocolate. Hi, how are you? Now I'm going to eat you, right? You're very delicious. Let's see, your name is Ritzberry. I'm not branding or promoting brands, right? Right? Him again, the monahari venega kim separate, total different thing, right? Hi, Choco, how are you? Right? Seems to be good. You're very cold, right? You were the temperature, very low temperature at the refrigerator. Am I correct? Right. Okay. Anyways, this is the last day that you can experience this temperature and be cool there, because now I'm going to eat you. You will feel the acidity. You will feel the hot temperature there inside my digestive system. Right. So, right. Let's see. Oh, you're not expired, no? Right. Okay. You're freshly manufactured. Let's see the name. Chocoberry, right? Hi, Chocoberry. Now you have peanuts also. Let's see whether you have peanuts. Remove the wrapping, right? Yes, I have removed. Wow, perfect wrapping. Now the wrapping inside. Let's remove that also. Likewise, you just speak, and then you will find numerous words. First day, second day, third day, you'll be afraid to do that thing, and it will be boring, but because you don't have words. And keep doing that, then you will absorb. When you read, you can simply understand that this word can be used in a situation like this. Then you will understand the flow. These words be spoken in this manner, right? And even the voice control, the variations, thing that simply what I do here, I'm not speaking in a monotonous tone. What I do is that I change my tone. Why? Because I need to emphasize certain points. I need to stress certain points, and I need to change my tone, because otherwise it will be monotonous and you will be logging out of this session. We don't want that boasting story or whatever. You remove this thing. It's very simple. No? It's nothing. You don't need to stand and go and excuse or whatever. You can just simply leave this meeting, right? You can simply click this thing and leave the meeting. Why? Because if you are doing it's useless. You can move out, right? Why? Because you must do and you must excel, right? Okay. When announcing physically, is it mandatory to maintain eye contact, or is okay to look at the paper? If there is a paper, if you can't remember the facts which you have written in the paper, you have to look at the paper. No? Nothing to do, nothing to help. You have to look at the paper. But simply think that you're looking down the paper and you're reading something, right? Then the people will think that he is reading something and he's doing something, he's not familiar to us. the audience will be moving out of you. So when you are doing some physical thing, and even online also, right? Look at the camera. Don't look anywhere else. Look at the camera. But the thing is that when it comes to these virtual things, you see your own face on the screen. Same here, I can see myself speaking. So despite of looking at the camera, I look myself. So don't do that. It will be something not nice, right? So you have to maintain eye contact for each corner. You have to cover the entire area through your eyes. You have to look at the guests. You have to look at the audience. You have to look everywhere, right? And people must notice that you are speaking to each and every person, right? You have to prove that you are with everyone. That will give you support, right? And that will give you some enthusiasm to do that event, right? Okay. So those are the questions that are in the chat box. So don't you have questions in Sinhala? It's okay. Just drop me the messages in Sinhala if you do. If you need, I'll just explain them, right? Don't worry. I can explain anything for you all. Any question you can ask, right? So what, the other thing I want to emphasize is that now I told how to practice and how to excel and what to do here, what are the opportunities. And although you are involved in a separate thing, you can do the media, right? So you might be learning something different, management or engineering or whatever. You can just do this presenting thing as a passion, right? And you can do some extra stuff, even for a television channel, or even you can do events without being a television presenter, right? There are many people who does events. And I can remember some people, they competed at these Japura competitions, and now they do certain other stuff outside events, right? So you can do numerous things, and the only thing is that you have to do something new, right? You have to work hard. You have to find for these opportunities, and you have to correct your mistakes, right? And simply when it comes to the pronunciation thing, what I wanted to emphasize is that it's not the thing that we pronounce is correct, right? Simply think that the word SAID, right? It's not said, it's said, right? Said. President Maithripala Sirisena, former President Maithripala Sirisena said likewise, right? IMF, international, it's not monetary, it's monetary. The single word is monetary, but when it comes to IMF, it's monetary. International Monetary Fund, IMF, right? And some other words, it's chef, not chef, likewise. There are different words. And when it comes to certain deep pronunciations, education, schedule, situation, likewise, there are different words. Focus on those things, right? Should we change the speed of the fluentness of the words? I mean, the high fluent will not go on with local people while it match with natives. Should we change the fluentness and speed when speaking to foreigners and locals? What is the use of speeding up this thing? If I want to talk something very speed, it's real difficult for you all to understand, right? Because like when I'm explaining this thing, this is the many basic things that I wanted to emphasize. And when it comes to English presenting, what you have to do is that you have to manage. If I say like that, many of the people can't understand. Some can understand, but it's very difficult, right? Don't increase the speed, right? You can maintain a simple speed. When it comes to foreigners, they will talk with a certain speed that you can do your formal way, right? And only at some places you can speed up, right? So speeding up as in you can use contractions, right? Let me, I will, I'll, right? Likewise, you can use contractions, and even there are double contractions also in the language, right? You can use contractions, and you have to maintain a certain speed. Why? Because otherwise the speech will be boring or people will be lazy to listen, right? When I speak to you, I want to tell you this thing. Likewise, this is good. If I speak like that, the gap in between words is considerably large, so the people might be boring. Depending on your tone, you have to regulate the speed, but not that much slow, not to a higher speed that you're going to expect that thing, right? The latter part of my speech is a little bit fast, right? Some words you have to contract and speak, right? For an example, must go, it's must go, right? Must open, it's must open, right? T and a vowel there. Must, the end letter is T, when combined with the vowel, it's combined. But when it comes to a consonant, what you have to do is that you have to drop that T. The T is silent, it's must go, right? Likewise, English facilitate those things. Those things you have to do. Otherwise, speeding up is not that much essential. But when it comes to a certain extent, you will purposely do that thing, or you will automatically manage that thing, right? So that speed is okay. If you're fluent enough, you can manage that thing. No problem with that, right? Locals and foreigners, you can speak. And if you feel that the listener can't understand, you have to explain it slowly or do it once again, right? That happens usually. So understanding the crowd from the very few minutes or seconds, you must manage the rest, because otherwise the speech would be in vain, right? What's better to use while speaking, British accent or American accent, right? Both are English, right? But American British thing is a little bit different. For Sri Lanka and for Rupavahini, we use British. And don't worry that everything we speak is either British or American, right? It belongs to something else. It belongs to at least one category. But what we have to do is that we have to strictly find what is British. British, you can follow British thing, right? So Americans are a little bit different, right? Right, wait. Okay. Excuse me. Right. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Right. Practicing a presentation, right? When it comes to a presentation, you have to present it politely, nicely. You have to maintain a formal language there. You have to, one of the most important things, using hand gestures when speaking. You must use your hands, you must use your facial expressions, but in news, don't do that much. In programs, you can do to a certain extent. All right. Right. Okay. Sorry. Right. Okay. Simply, what I wanted to emphasize is that when it comes to doing a presentation, you have to use your hands, your face, facial expressions, the hand gestures, and you have to do that part, right? While doing that part, simply you can look, if that is to a particular wall or something like that, you can directly use this thing and turn this way, right? Simply you can move the eye contact and emphasize certain things. If you are looking at the audience, right, the audience will look at you. If you are looking at the screen, the audience will look at the screen. Simply, if you're going to emphasize something on the screen like here, they will look at the screen and you have to explain them. While explaining, you have to manage and you have to stress where it's important, right? For example, right? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to present the new proposal, the new proposed plan for the school sports complex. Ladies and gentlemen, really thankful for you all for having us with this project and giving us this wonderful opportunity to obtain this sports complex, and the funds provided will be deprived in a certain manner that you will be having everything clear. So I'm going to present the proposal. So this is the proposed plan of the sports complex, and when it comes to the 4th floor, right? Likewise, present it, say something credible. We're going to present what is on the screen, right? So when you are doing that thing, if you want to stress something, so the sports complex that is being built at the school will facilitate 4,600 students, right? You can emphasize that fact, right? Simply, a sports complex is a very valuable opportunity for a school. When it comes to Sujatha College, I don't know Sujatans are here or not. Sujatha College, none of my ones are there, right? Sujatha College, we are the pioneering students when it comes to the sports. We have athletes who have excelled national and international levels. We have the cricket team, the best girls cricket team, Sri Lanka, and they have competed in different international competitions, have brought fame for the motherland. So simply, this sports complex will pave the way for boosting their. Likewise, when you emphasize those things, you can simply stress on those, right? Stressing and emphasizing those things, they must be done depending on the fact we are going to speak, right? Okay. When it comes, so there are a lot to speak about presentations, and when it comes to programs, and when it comes to news reading things, right? A very, very diverse set of things that we can discuss, but time doesn't permit for us to manage, right? Okay, so that's why I'm just giving a clear idea about those things and not going too much in detail. So any other, ask any other questions if there are any, right? So I'll continue with my latter part of this thing. When it comes to presenting, first, I'll just talk a little bit more about news and formal program presenting, right? So when it comes to the news, you have to read what you are given at Rupavahini, but in some other TV stations, they expect you all to write the news and do a lot. That is the basic purpose of a news anchor, right? So here, Rupavahini, we all are freelance presenters. We do only the news reading part. Respecting others, each and everyone, thankful for them. We have all the facility, all the other facilities, they provide us everything, right? So behind the screen, a huge role is there, right? Apart from presenting and putting forward your appearance, the face, the screen, you can do radio presenting as well, right? Radio is a separate thing. Television presenting is something that you can show your face and speak as well, right? When it comes to radio, people can only listen to you. They can't see you, what you are doing, right? So when it comes to radio, your voice must be so strong and influential that people can create a certain picture by listening to your voice. That is radio thing. And in radio also, news is there, the programs and everything is there, right? And in television, I'll talk about television and some other things, right? News reading, program presenting, I talked to you about those things. And apart from those things, you can be a reporter, reporting news. You can be an editor, editing news. You can, if you are excellent at graphics and everything, you can do that graphic designing parts for media channels and everything. But I hope each and everyone who came here, they love presenting, right? There are some many more related things, right, in this field. But here, this is the on presenting workshop. No, you have to move with that, right? Okay. Then when it comes to my context, I have compared events and I have discussions. And when it comes to the news, I'm a newsreader, right? So simply, first, as I told, you have to be credible. And second, you have to excel and you have to know what is happening all around the world. For an example thing, that there is a mistake in the news script. No one is liable, right? You must be responsible. Why? Because you, as the news reader, you must know what is happening there around the world, here at home or whatever it is, right? Simply, you must correct that thing on air, right? Likewise, you have to have that credibility language and try that translation skill also, right? Sometimes you will get on the spot breaking news. You have to translate that and present the news at the same time, right? Okay. When it comes to the other programs, talk shows and everything, managing the guest is the most important thing. For an example, I'm hosting a different interview, right? Think that a senior president's council is there. I'm going to conduct an interview with him with regard to the marriage in Sri Lanka, a topic, legal topic I'm going to discuss. So if I'm talking of marriage with him, so I should first of all respect him and explain the scenario. I should help him to get the other things done, and I should make him comfortable and everything. So we have to manage the rest of the stuff. Otherwise, that won't be a success. That is apart from this thing, but that is mandatory for you all to make this program a success. And simply, what I want to advise is that I have seen different students in competitions when they are conducting these discussions. They ask numerous questions at a time. How can the guest remember those things, right? For an example, if you are asking like this, for example, think that a senior president's council is there. I'm going to talk with him about marriage, right? So first of all, I'm explaining this thing. So ladies and gentlemen, to give a good approach to the topic, let's start off with this thing. So what is simply a marriage is? What is a marriage? Simply, we are going to ask what a marriage is, right? So he is going to answer that thing only. Think that you are going to ask, sir, what is a marriage? How does it affect the entire community? And when it comes to Kandyan and Tesavalame and Muslim related laws, how that affects to the property development and deviation of certain, even you can't remember what you said initially. He will ask you to repeat what you said, what you're going to answer, what he is going to answer, right? Simply, you have to ask one question at a time, because he is also a human being and you also can't remember each and everything that you ask, despite if you have written something, right? So ask one by one and this discussion will be fruitful. And simply try to absorb something from his speech and to give back as an answer to the audience. Be the audience, don't be biased. You might be to a certain political view or whatsoever, but in the discussion or when you're doing your capacity as a journalist, a reporter, or any other platform as a newsreader, as a host, comparer, don't put forward your personal opinions and views. Be transparent, don't be biased to anyone. You are representing each and everyone. Although I'm a Buddhist, I'm representing and I'm asking questions on behalf of each and every religious, every person obeying any religion, right? Simply believe that, right? Okay. Do you recommend any apps or something for English? Simply type BBC Learning English. There are many. YouTube, there is an app also, but I'm not using the app, right? I'm not sure. I'm not certain about the application, but simply you can search the internet and you can find many more stuff with regard to the language. And local newspapers, they does a great job, right? Can we do TV or news presenting as a part-time? Yes, you can. Same here. Any news reader at Rupavahini, they are not permanently news readers there, and there is no post called news reader. They have presenters and a separate capacity there. So you can do some other work and do the news, right? Some channels, they don't allow freelancers to work. But here at Rupavahini, we all are freelance presenters. We have certain agreements with Rupavahini to present the news and some other programs. That's it. But we can't do programs anywhere that we want, right? We are obliged and we must be credible because we are news anchors for that particular channel. So we should maintain the reputation of that TV station also. So you can do that part-time. It's okay, no problem. And certain people love, as you all are undergraduates, what I advise is that don't enter the media as full-time employees. Learn your degree. Until then, you can work part-time. If you can do something more as a journalist or any capacity, just enter. That is up to you to select, right? Okay. Any questions? Any further questions? I was supposed to do about 1 hour, but I just managed to do 1.5 nearly, right? Anyways, we were able to do something important. And so simply this workshop, or rather this small discussion, will not be enough for you all to do and absorb whatever there in this industry. Simply, you have to do something more, and you have to work on your own. You have to gain that expertise and skill when it comes to presenting, right? Work on your own. Read, find new words, find the language, explore the language, correct your pronunciations, and watch how the news anchors, presenters do their job. How they manage in between cameras, how they manage in between guests, how they manage in between ideas and questions. That is the most important thing. Management is the thing that you must do, right? If you are a teacher, you have to manage the students. If you are a university lecturer, you have to manage that undergraduates. If you are a doctor, you have to manage the patient. If you are a lawyer, you have to manage the client. If you are doing something, management of a company, you have to manage those things. Human resource management, my apologies. You have to do that thing. So management is everywhere. So here is also media. In media also management is there. And next thing I want to emphasize is that if you do a mistake there on air, say, suppose that I'm saying, for example, I've mispronounced, not actually a mispronunciation, I've reported a fact or a figure wrong. President Maithripala Sirisena, former President Maithripala Sirisena said that the infrastructure facilities, right? If I made something wrong, my apologies. If it is a serious mistake, or simply you can add the word rather, right? So when practicing this thing, rather, likewise, you can add the word and skip to a correct one. If it is a serious, huge one, you better say my apologies, right? For example, if you have misspelled a name or something like that, that is no excuse, right? So you have to be credible. People can do mistakes, right? But it's your humble quality to correct that thing, right? So don't leave the mistake, right? Because everything is recorded with this digital infrastructure, right? So don't leave that thing aside. Despite of all the other things, you have to correct those mistakes and do that thing at the same time on the spot, right? So that is one other thing. And when it comes to the ordinary language, when you're speaking, this is apart from this appearing in the television. If you want to become a news anchor, simply be credible, right? Maintain your personality, that everyone respects you, and don't keep any loopholes that people can blame. Otherwise, that is not good for the TV station or the channel or entity that you are going to represent, right? Social media and whatever the thing that you manage, be careful, right? And don't ruin your personality. That will harm your dignity, right? And try to maintain humble qualities, set of humble qualities with you all, and try to help each other, because I'm here because someone helped me to get into this industry, right? So if you need some help, just you can simply ask me, right? I can do any favor what I can. I'm not a big person that I can make you read news tomorrow at Rupavahini, right? I'm not that kind of a person, but I can simply give you the way and pave you the way for you all to take something extra and to do the extra mile and take those things. So simply you can just ask me whatever. If you need something, I can help you all, right? I think the time is up. One more question, right? Can you please give your right number, right? Just simply try my Facebook account. My Facebook account is open, right? You can simply search my name, Facebook. Just simply drop me a Facebook message. I'll just reply definitely, right? So normally my replying times are at night, right? So I usually don't reply each and everyone at the same time because it's not nice to communicate at such a time. When I'm free, I'll just definitely respond to you all, right? Okay, no problem. And if you need any clarification from what do you call, if you need my contacts from if you need something for your school, if you need my contact for that purpose, I think this Japura people can communicate, right? So there are many questions, right? Right, okay, so in that case, if you need to ask something from me, you can just simply drop me a Facebook message. It's okay. And if you need yes, right, if you need something extra for your school or something like that, so Japura people can communicate and they will do the needful, right? Dinali, just please do that thing for them. And right, okay, right, opportunity to get a chance to do so, yes, right? And prepare a CV, right? Just you can enter each and every detail, then prepare a beautiful CV, not the ordinary one, just try to be a little bit extraordinary, right? And simply you can just send it to each and every TV station. But these days, to be honest, they are not seeking new ones. Why? Because of this COVID pandemic, everyone they're working with a limited number of people. So many programs were shut down because of this electricity issue and many things. So for these days, I'm not sure about the new intakes and everything, but let's see what we can do until then, because I strive 4 years to get into this particular thing. Some might have, like, if I started something, I would have like if I could marry, like my children will be on the school or going school also. That time I just tried hard to get into this industry, right? It's not that much easy, right? But simply try. Otherwise, no one will give you the opportunity. Let's come tomorrow. You are the person who are reading the news. That won't happen, right? So you have to strive and do. Yes, you can get an opportunity there. Let's see. First, you have to improve those things, because at least, like, to get in a new person, there should be a vacancy created, right? And removing someone and taking someone new, the intake must be good, and the removing person must have some negative impacts, right? So if I am not good, they will remove me and take someone in, right? So for that purpose, they must find some fault from me, and they should find some good ones better than me. Likewise, for the moment, sometimes for new programs and new recordings, they take new ones, right? So keep in touch with the Japura Voices. They do a lot. So taking an opportunity in the TV in the media industry at once is little bit difficult, to be honest, right? But I think since Japura people, they conduct many events with regard to these different capacities, so you can involve with them and you can sharpen your skills, right? Any other messages? Right, okay. So I think we just managed to discuss many important scenarios with regard to this field of media presenting, basically English presenting, right? So all the very best for each and every ladies and gentlemen, right? Ladies and gentlemen, simply what I want to emphasize is that, ladies, you have the potential to grow, and gents, you have the potential to grow. What is the difference? I want to emphasize that media is open for each and every one of you, right? Ladies and gentlemen, so simply thank you very much for listening to me. So I'm just looking at the number of participants. So it was fluctuating with small numbers, but considerably each and everyone was there from the beginning to the end. So luckily we are not experiencing any power interruptions today, so that is a plus point, and we were able to manage this session very well. And there were many questions and I entertained each and every one of them. If I missed any, I apologize from you all, right? And if you do have any questions, just kindly follow this my social media to reach me. And in any case, like anything more convenient, you can just coordinate through this Japura Voice undergraduates, right? Okay, thank you very much for listening to me, and it's really great to help young students and budding people to enter this field of media. And I wish everyone can pursue their dreams, and students study well, and don't take only the microphone and move forward. Just take the education a backup, right? A degree or whatever, then they will recognize you from that, and they will provide you the opportunity automatically to present and to further improve your thing. So simply, if you are doing something extraordinary, they will believe you and they will give you opportunities, right? Okay, let's strive hard, right? And let's be humble to help each and everyone. Let's coordinate with each and everyone to make this world a better place, right? Thank you very much, and stay safe during this hard time, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights you shared with us today. I mean, that was a very interesting and also a fruitful session. I mean, I was also literally got motivated. So thank you very much, sir. So this marks the end of the final webinar of Allusion workshop series. Once again, we would like to thank Mr. Charitha Minipuraarachchi for sparing his valuable time to add more value to this workshop. And I'm sure it has meant a lot for our young announcers who are willing to get into the field of media. And also, we can't forget our beloved gift partner, Sri Hasta. And again, just to remind you, please fill the Google form before 12 a.m. today in order to receive your certificate of participation. As you already know, we will be having a media competition, Verbalizers 2022. Details about the competition will be informed to you soon. To join with our future sessions, please subscribe the YouTube channel of Japura Voice, Voice TV by Japura Voice. And finally, our dearest audience, thank you for being with us along and being a part of Allusion'22. So now it's time to wind up the session until we meet again with Allusion 2023. Have a great time, take care, and goodbye.